I'm going to tell you 3 steps to making payroll this week so you can get that done. I'm Kathleen Bilton, and I have worked in construction for 20 years, and my expertise is in helping you keep cash in your bank consistently. Now, every construction business owner everywhere has said at one point, how do I make payroll this week? How am I going to pay the bills this week? Step number 1, get what's owed. Now, how do we do that? First, I would be looking at who owes me money. What work have we already done? What bills are already out on the street? Who can I collect from? And I would be on the phone, email, etc., demanding those funds. Specifically, if you're running into like 30, 60 days past due, I'd be asking, is there a holdup? What can I do to expedite that? And maybe even I would start talking about possible like exercising of my lien rights. Now, it doesn't have to be a threat. It can literally be a conversation with someone. It's like, hey, by the way, we're nearing where we're going to have to protect our rights. So can I get an update on those payments? Now, nobody wants to deal with having to deal with a lien or having to deal with discharging a lien, even if it's perfectly valid that you would have filed that. They don't want to have to deal with it. So sometimes you may have to play that conversation out. Another thing you might want to look at in helping you expedite payments for stuff you've already billed and work that you've already done is be like, hey, by the way, we've rolled out credit card processing as an option. We can go ahead and have you pay it that way. I have seen literal $100,000 kitchens that were paid for on credit cards because people want to get the points. So why not? So, and these days, if you set that up, you can usually get your processing paid out within a couple days. And sometimes that is the best way. Like, hey, I know you guys usually pay by check, but I have the ability to take credit cards. Is that something that would work for you? Things like that. I'd be talking to everybody that owes us money. Step 2 is get cash in your bank today. And how we do that, is there a job that you have already been negotiating with someone, or is there someone you're working with that you've already quoted that is ready to pull the trigger? And maybe you want to have that sales call and just close that deal right now so that you can get that deposit and get some money in the bank so you can keep your operations running. What stops people from making these phone calls is like a lack of confidence around, hey, I provide this really great service. Let's go ahead and do it. And that's sort of an aspect of sales, is just being out there in conversation with people that you're already talking to that have come to you for a quote. So of course it's logical and normal for you to then ask for the sale. And it's okay to do that. They're more likely to say yes to you if you can show that you are interested, you're eager, but more like, hey, I'm competent. I'm your guy. Let's do this. Let's do a deal. Can I have a deposit? Now, this is the most important part. I gave you the first 2 because I really wanted you to get to step 3. Step 1 and 2 were about solving an immediate issue, whereas step 3 is really about how to deal with your overall cash flow management in your business so that you don't have to keep chasing your tail all the time. Step 3 is what I call your consistent cash flow and construction blueprint. This is where you create the processes and systems in your business so your cash flow comes in consistently. You need a template for understanding what is owed to you in your business that you can use to keep an eye on what work is done and what is owed on the work that's done. You also want to have a system for storing your documentation so you can pull from it easily at a drop of a dime. There's no confusion about where the docs are stored or where the information is that you're going to need in order to collect. Finally, it's really teaching people to be willing to make the phone calls and do the follow-up. If you know that something is owed and they're likely to run into certain questions, we may want to hedge their bets by communicating that up front. And even sometimes picking up the phone just to make sure everything we did send in is nice and clear and that there's no confusion. Having these tools and systems that are simple to use and easy to repeat also adds a level of credibility with your customers and your financiers. Essentially, it shows that you're competent and trustworthy in being able to follow through on processes, including sometimes picking up the phone or sending an email to follow up on things. And then you can then continue operating so that you're not always chasing your tail, so to speak, which then makes you seem more organized. And again, even organization makes you more trustworthy to your customers. It helps instill a level of confidence because you can speak intelligently about everything that you're doing and you're ready to keep rolling on the work. I want your construction company to be as thriving as everyone that I work with. If you want your construction company to have a consistent cash flow basis using the construction blueprint in your organization, click the link below to find out how.